And unfortunate as it may be, 1 in 15 children are exposed to domestic violence each year. Tonight, KSAN's Mackailyn Johnson brings you the second half of her two-part series, where she sits down with domestic violence survivors from around the Concho Valley. We'll learn more tonight about one survivor's experience with domestic violence, both in adolescence and in adulthood. And while at times challenging, this individual now shares that she shares her story with courage, because staying silent only protects those who should be held responsible. Let's watch.
This is KLST-TV, a survivor of domestic abuse in both her childhood and nearly a decade of her adult life. In sitting down with her, I learned her childhood memories are pained by the constant presence of fear.
I remember the overwhelming fear more than anything.
That fear caused by an alcoholic father who took his rages out on her mother and the children.
I would see him throw things, and I would actually see him, physically assault her.
Around 4.5 million American women alive today have been threatened by intimate partners with firearms. Kayla's mom, one of them.
I grew up being very afraid of guns because my dad would often, use guns as a means to put fear into my mom.
Kayla's experiences are echoed in the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence statistics. Of the 1 in 15 children who are exposed to domestic violence, 90% of them are eyewitnesses, and 1 in 3 will also suffer from child abuse. It's also stated that these children are more likely to be in abusive intimate partner relationships in the future, either as perpetrator or sufferer. For Kayla, it was the latter.
I was in an 8-year-long relationship where there was domestic violence, and that ended about a year ago.
Was it from the start, or was there kind of an abrupt change?
Her short answer, no. The physical abuse started a year into their marriage, but before then, it was all verbal.
Criticisms, nothing I did really seemed to make him happy. He was just always criticizing things, like always criticizing my appearance.
When the physical violence did begin, she recalls countless black eyes, getting kicked, being choked, being beaten with a golf club. One unforgettable instance leaving her unconscious.
I remember him choking me to the point of, passing out, and then being dragged across the floor by my hair, and then just being beaten with his fists. And I remember once he stopped that, I looked up at him, and I remember him just punching me in the face and broke my nose. And, his response at that point in time, I'm covered in blood, was just to, you need to clean that up.
This 8-year reality left Kayla completely shut down at times. Anxiety and depression became a close friend.
Just thinking that it was never going to end or never going to get better, I didn't know how to get out of it.
The road to escaping was actually filled with breakups and ultimately multiple reconciliations.
Getting out of it, what did that look like for you?
Counseling and digging deeper into the abuse she's faced throughout her life led to a boiling point.
It just culminated one night, and it was I just found my voice and my strength, and that was the night that I decided that I was done with that.
And now, after just a year of being out of the relationship, she is finally on the road to healing. In our interview, I was inspired by her willingness to share her story, but she says she's doing so to make up for lost time.
You're so open about talking about this. What makes you, want to share your story?
I'll be honest with you, I think I'm at a point where I'm angry now. And a lot of it I'm angry with myself, because I felt like by my silence, that was what was able to empower him and give him power to continue to his abuse. And I also look back and I see how powerless my mom was, because during that time, domestic violence wasn't recognized. It was believed that what went on in the home was a private matter.
Her anger stretches to the system as well. While 20 people per minute are physically abused by an intimate partner, education and knowledge is lacking. Knowledge like how 1 in 4 women and 1 in 9 men experience domestic violence, and in Texas, 40.1% of Texas women and 34.9% of Texas men experience intimate partner physical violence.
Education is huge. I don't think there's enough being said about what resources, I say women, but it's men too, but what resources victims of abuse have to them.
Resources right here in the Concho Valley.
The county attorney's office has a domestic violence division that's there to help women or men that are victims of domestic violence. I didn't know that at the time.
And a year later, she's still learning, still healing, and holding close a new purpose.
It really kind of made it my mission in life to be a voice, to be a shoulder, to be able to help someone where it doesn't get to that point is so very important to me.
Kayla Sessom is a true survivor.
I wanted to know, how are you today?
I'm actually probably in the best place that I've been in a very long time. I have amazing friends. I don't spend my days in fear anymore. I didn't know how I was going to get past him, but I did, and it got easier.